Hi Pottery peeps. I'm in the studio. I haven't been cleared, but you know what? The pottery, it's good for my mental health, you know? And just for an update, I haven't been able to lose the headaches, but I don't have a migraine today, just have the headache. And I saw the neurologist, had an MRI, saw the neurologist, and last year in the car accident, I had 2 bulging discs. I have 3 now, and also some bone spurs have developed. But he told me, he says, I'm not to the point where I need surgery right now, but probably in the future, I'll end up with my neck fused. He's sending me to another specialist, and then I am being sent to the pain clinic for injections into those bulging discs, see if we can't calm everything down. So that's what's going on with me. So basically, he told me to, because my physical therapist grounded me from the studio until we found out what was going on, and he told me just, be smart, don't push it. You start getting, the headache starts getting worse, get out of the studio. So that's what I'm doing. So I kind of got, permission to be out here. But I do know that my time is limited. So we're going to do something easy. I got the art festival coming up in September that I am way behind getting things done for. And, but the last 3 years, whatever happens, happens. And you just can't beat yourself up about it or stress about it, even though it's so easy to do and fall into that trap. And believe me, I've been in that trap this last month. So when it comes to videos, I'm gonna put them up when I can film. And also today, we've got a wildfire right outside my front door on the mountain that faces my house. I will put some pictures up that we have, and I hope I can edit out the helicopters. We have a reservoir that's up, I don't know, a mile from the house, maybe a mile and a half, and the helicopters are using that reservoir to fill their water and run it over on the back side of the mountain. Luckily, it's not on the front side of the mountain, it's on the back side of the mountain. It did not get over the front on at least mine. The mountains are just everywhere, and so that fire is actually back behind now, and hopefully they're getting it contained because it's scary. Fires are scary. All right, let's go ahead and get on to what I'm going to do. So I have these stencils, and I will link them. This one is leaves, and then this one is pumpkins. And I saw these trays because the one thing I can do, again, is shop. So I've been shopping. But I found these trays on Amazon, and I thought, wouldn't that make great trays, charcuterie boards, and then this size too. I'm not sure what size this one is. I do know that these are 12 by 6, so it's a little less than 12, and about 6.5, I guess, for the big one. And then I think this one's, it's probably 9 by something. Anyway, I will link all of this for you. And speaking of links, kudos to Tess. She went through and got me a store on Amazon so that all the stuff that I use in the studio, you guys can find there. And there are affiliate links attached, just so you know. But, that might give me a little kickback. But at least you can find, I get a lot of messages, where's this, where's that? And I try to link everything I can in the description of what I use. But everything that I basically use for my business that I have bought on Amazon is going to be in the Hobble Creek Pottery store. And so I will leave a link for that too. Oh, and here we got another, they're buzzing right over my house, guys. Just coming right off the mountain over my house to the reservoir. So hopefully I can get the noise to not be so loud, because it's been pretty loud. If I can't, then I will, I will just speed it up and add music. This is a pretty simple video. I think anyone at any stage can do this, and it's a fun one. And I think these trays are going to be super, super cute. So let's go ahead and I'm going to lower you down and show you how I'm going to do this. Okay, I've rolled out a 3/8 slab and compressed it, got the texture of the matte out of it. And we're going to paint first. So I'm just going to go ahead and release this off the table. And I know that this is going to be plenty big for the big one. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut this out of here. I'm going to find my knife so that I have two. I like doing, since I've got two forms, and I'm going to use the same colors to paint these stencils. So let's do this. Got some weird boards over here. Actually, it's super warm. So let me cover that one while I'm working on this one. So I'm just going to roll this in. With my pony roller. This is speckled D-Mix by Laguna. That's the clay that I'm working on. I thought that the speckle would look really pretty with these, because I only plan to do clear glaze over them. So I got that one. You know what? I wonder if I shouldn't. I love doing this. I love rolling in stencils and painting them and getting pretty much all they'll need after this is just a clear glaze. Oh, dang it. Cornstarch before you roll in that stencil. I forgot, because you don't want that stencil to stick. Actually, that's not too bad. Okay, sometimes if the clay is really wet, it'll suction too much of that stencil, that plastic stencil, and you'll get this texture on it, and it'll pull up like a little bit of the clay, and it's not very pretty. A lot of smoothing that you'll have to do. And why won't this roll in? That's weird. I love this pumpkin. You know what? I think it's if you get too much cornstarch, I don't think it'll allow the stencil to adhere. So I'm having some issues. So I'm just going to take some of that off, and we're going to start over. All right, I'm actually going to turn it over and use this side. But yeah, I put too much cornstarch, and so the stencil didn't want to. Okay, let's try this again. Oh yeah, that's much better. Okay. I think I got some. Yeah. All right, the colors I'm using are Real Orange by Amico, and then I've got Amethyst, Carmine, Speedball, and Saffron Yellow and Avocado Speedball. And then this is Pine from Speedball. And so these are going to be the colors that I am going to use. And so I'm just going to set up all my colors. So my favorite thing to use for something like this are actually the Sumi brushes. And I believe, have these on my storefront with Amazon. I will double check to make sure, because they hold a lot of glaze, and I like that they come to a point. So something like this, I will use the Sumi. See how it comes to a point? You can see me. I'm gonna go ahead and add music because it's just getting way too loud with all of this air traffic. And I'm just gonna go ahead and paint, and hopefully you can tell what I'm doing. Here's the fun part. So I'm just going to pick it up. Isn't that cool? I love this. And then I have to let it dry a little bit before I can put it on the form. So I am going to pause you. We'll let it dry for a little bit. You can also, let's see, hold on. I got a boo-boo. So I'm just gonna hit it with making sure I didn't mess up anywhere else. Another boo-boo right there. So I'll just finger paint over that, blend that in. And also, if you have, you can take a brush and come in here and lift if you got outside of where you want it to be. It's very forgiving at this stage because the clay is wet, and otherwise if you did this on bisque, you know, if you made a mistake, it's going to be hard to get that off. So, all right, so I'm going to quit fiddling, let it dry, and I'll come back in a bit and show you what we're going to do with them. I do this two different ways. Since these trays, they don't feel like they have they don't feel like they have a finish on them, you know, but I'm pretty sure that they have a little bit of a finish. I am going to, since I'm going to put this one inside and I'm going to do the other one outside of the form. And put my maker's mark on there. So this one I didn't actually need to put a board on it. So I will lose some of the that's what I want to do. I will lose not all the pumpkins because this one is smaller than the other. You can do this with a sheet like I'm doing just to protect the the painting, the underglazes, or you could use plastic. Either one would work. I could probably do my fingers or do without it because it's pretty dry, but I just wanted to make sure I don't smudge it because there's oils on your hands, you know. So, and I'm just making sure, feeling with my fingers, your best tool is your fingers, that I'm getting it in the form. And this actually dried out a little faster, the clay. Okay, so, oh, that's going to be cute. And then I'm going to take this little guy. Actually, let me just set this one up here so I can. And then I'm going to come in straight at it, hit that form, and then just cut all that off. It's really important to keep this straight, parallel with the form. All right. Then these I will reclaim. I just think these will make such a fun holiday. I mean, you could use the pumpkins or the leaves for Thanksgiving and Halloween or fall, anything for fall. And then I am just going to smooth that edge. I don't want to add water because that will mess with the underglazes. So I'll just do this real quick. And then I'm just double checking that I've got it formed. So it all looks good. And then I will leave it in here to stiffen up. And the nice thing about doing it this way is You don't have to worry about getting it out of here real fast, because it's just going to shrink inside of it. So this one is done. And then let's do the other one. The other one's a little bit more complicated. So, because we are going to put it on the outside. And I did have issues with this because this is really sharp. And so it started cutting the clay. So I was going to sand it with my sander. And I do plan to do that, but guess who forgot to do that before she started filming the video. So what I'm going to do instead, let's see if we can just, well, you could technically wrap it, but I'm not going to do that. Not today. Unfortunately, I tell you, I haven't even been out here that long, and the headache is getting pretty bad. So I am not going to be able to be out here for very long, much longer. In fact, I probably should be in right now. Man, I feel for anybody that suffers migraines. Jeez, they're just debilitating, you know? All right, so I am going to set this on here. All right, that looks good. And then actually, I don't need this. We're just going to go ahead and flip it over onto this form. And I need, this will work. I like to have it, actually, I've got, make it a little bit more stable. So, and then we're just gonna form it around here. And because that edge is really, really sharp, and I did cut through when I did it on the first one that I did a couple of days ago, which is why I have already forgotten how I did this, right? So I'm just going to form it around here and try not to press too hard. But I do recommend, if you do get this form, this tray off of Amazon, sand that edge if you're going to use it on the outside like this, because you don't have to. You can do exactly what I did to that one. So I'm trying to be careful about that edge. And this one I will have to spend some time after I take it off of this form on the edge, but I'll show you how I did that. And it's actually best if you wait for it to set up a little bit anyway. So I'm just carefully just going around. I like using my whole palm around the edges here. Just coaxing it to, I am getting, so it's dry, so I am getting some cracking there. It's a little drier than I like. And I probably should have had more clay. I'm going to have to really work on this edge to make it look nice. And then I'm going to lift this up. And I know it's not going to reach, but I want to cut this and I want to cut it straight. I'm going to have to really clean this up with the rasp after. I had to do that with the other one too. But I'm just getting the excess clay off of this one for now. Okay, so it doesn't look pretty right now, but it will. It will look pretty when I'm done with it, by the time I'm done with it. I like that these are really, they're a low profile tray, you know. So I'm just gonna, all right. And then I'm just going to smooth it, and then I'm going to let it set up a little bit, and then I will be back to show you how to clean up this edge. The other one's pretty much done. When it comes out of the form, I will just soften the back edge. But this one, since I went over the top, is going to take a little bit more cleanup to make that edge look good. I am going to go ahead and just soften the corners. That's where I'm having the cracking, of course, because my clay is a little too dry for this. And it is the bee mix with speckle, so the speckle acts kind of like a grog. And so sometimes groggier clays, it just takes more cleaning up because they want to crack or split. So I'm just smoothing my bottom, and then I will add in my maker's mark while it's here, and then I'll be back in a minute, or back in a few minutes. Okay, I think it's set up enough that we can take it off. And then fix this rim. Yeah, it's kind of, there we go. Okay. All right, so now what I want to do, and this is really easy to do once it hits some leather hard or soft leather hard. I'm going to take a rasp. Let's make sure you're going the right direction. And then I'm just going to level these guys all out. Because I don't need a really big rim, you know. You can, of course, make sure you have enough clay to leave yourself a big rim. So basically, I'm just going to eyeball this from the lowest point, which is over here, and then just take all this clay away. Okay, any of the little goober bits, I will, I mean, it's pretty soft still over here. It's harder on the edge. Then I'm just going to leave them in there until it dries more. And now I'm going to take this. And then all this is, you can get it from GR Pottery Forms if you don't want to cut one of yours up. But it's the Mud Tools, the yellow one. And I'm just going to round this off, and I did gouge down here, so fix that a little bit. So Just gonna go around it and give myself a nice finished edge. All right, so, and then I will come back in and just kind of soften that. I want to make sure that, oops, I don't want to, I want it straight, you know? There we go. So it's still a little soft in places, but it is setting up, so. And then I will let it get leather hard or even bone dry, and then clean the or flip it over and then clean that. Right now, I want to put weights on it and let it dry slowly so that it won't warp on me. But I think these trays are, not only are they fun, I love things that are decorated in the greenware stage. The greenware stage is always my favorite stage. And then I just have to hit it with some, dip it in some clear, and this one is done. Because the speckled buff is such a pretty clay. It looks rustic, you know, and so I'm just cleaning up this inside edge too. I do recommend, though, that if you get this tray that I used on this one, sand that edge. Just knock it off a little bit and make it a little bit more softer for the clay. And you'll have an easier time of it. All right, I'm going to quit fiddling. But I can show you one that the first one I did. Okay, I'm going to quit. Just want to make sure everything's straight here. You could even do a decorative rim. Uh-oh. Nope, leave it. I'm gonna leave it. All right, I'm gonna put some weights on it. And then, actually, this one's probably ready to come out of its form too. So let's do that real quick. And then, where's my other board? Oh, there it is. And this one's just gonna pop out. See? I want to put it on this board though and let it dry. But those are two really fun, easy trays using these trays that, and these trays weren't very much money. So, and I really like the shape of them. So I'm just going to leave them like this for a while. And then I've actually got to run up to the airport. So I'm going to do that. And then I will come back. Let me show you though real quick. Or maybe I already did show you. I'm not sure. I don't remember. But this one's bone dry. And it's ready to go be fired. And this is on that bigger form. Okay? Turned out nice, huh? Isn't that pretty? All right. Set that down. Okay, that's it for me today. And hopefully you'll see me soon. All right? Okay, guys, go get muddy.